with my audio, and a lot of people following this live broadcast are saying they cannot hear me. So I am going to take a brief pause and just see what is going on. Please let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if my audio is working. Yes. So let me know if you can hear me. This has never happened before, but these are part of the challenges we face. But let me know if you can hear me. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay, I think this is kind of okay. Let me know if you can hear me. So we're going to test strongly. Okay. All right. So okay. Let me know if you can hear me. We're good. Okay. All right. So first of all, I want to apologize due to technicalities and stuff like that. So we'll start the live session proper. We'll start the live session proper. Apologies. I didn't envisage this, but it's all good. These are some of the challenges. All right. So we're going to talk about important red flags when you're buying your rental properties in Lagos. And there are three key things I'm going to be discussing today. Then I'm also going to be talking tomorrow on how to provide to protect your property, your rental properties from bad tenants. I have some couple of investors who have had not so good experience. More importantly, if they are renting out, for those who have actually rented out their properties to investors, to tenants in Lagos. So we have a series, and I'm also working on a video whereby we're talking with how to protect your property from bad tenants, talking about looking at it from the legal perspective or the legal, aspects. So we're going to be looking at that as well. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be doing through this week. So I want to start by saying a very big thank you to everybody um, that sent out their condolences, their prayers, their support. Last week Thursday was my mom's wake up, and the Friday was the funeral. So I was away, and so meeting up with that, we're going to be. I'll try as much as I can to have three live sessions this week. Before, of course, so on this particular, um, thank you very much, Mr. Bod. Um, so we're going to be talking. So I have some important videos. First, I'm going to be talking about how to identify bad off-plan project that will be coming up by the special grace of God this Sunday. On this Wednesday, we're going to be looking at the agro real estate, what some important developers are doing. So there's a lot that is lined up for you, my real estate. So this is why you have to subscribe. This is why you have to follow me if you're on Facebook and also on YouTube. So let's talk about important red flags for your rental properties. Now, when you were talking about renting out properties in Lagos, now a lot of people don't seem to understand that there are a lot of fundamental things that they need to understand. And looking at this, a lot of people today are still doing real estate investments the wrong way. Now, to start with, I've been in this industry by the special grace of God. This here will make it my 8th year. So I have worked with different real estate developers. I've worked with some different real estate, investors. I've worked with of course, currently I'm managing properties for even some people in diaspora. They are not in Nigeria. So I manage a lot of property. So I'm talking from the areas of experience, I'm talking from the areas of expertise, and I'm also talking like also from the professional aspects so that we can give something like a concise information. Now, when you're buying rental properties, um, now there are different kinds of properties. We have cash flows properties, we have hospitality properties, we have resorts, relaxation properties, and the likes. And when you are buying, basically, it is very important that you understand that all locations in Lagos are not the same. So I'm going to start by saying this. For the fact that it's in Lagos does not mean the location is prime. And a lot of people have not understood very well that what determines the value of your properties are the categories of people who are residing in that location. And that is why over time some locations will be more valuable over others. And the reason for that basically is due to the fact that Lagos is a place of opportunities. And like I said, no two locations are the same. Now, when we talk about red flags, now red flags are things that you will see or you would have observed in a area where you want to choose your choice property. Isaac, come and reduce this thing. Now, where you want to choose your dream properties. So these are red flags. Reduce the volume. So let's quickly go into that very quickly. Red flag number one, location. Okay, proximity. Red flag number one, proximity. Now, when we talk about proximity, what are the important things that are very close to that location? Now, you should know that if I'm choosing a rental properties, whether I'm a first time investor or I'm someone who is just coming to Lagos for the first time, there are some key things that I will not ignore if I'm buying Lagos. And that is proximity to important landmarks. Like, for instance, the reason why I chose this particular location that I'm presently residing is due to two key factors. Number one, it is closer to all the sites that I'm managing for my real estate investors. I have a lot of, like I said at the commencement of this video, I have several properties that I'm managing on behalf of diaspora. There are people who are in the US, who are in the UK, that their properties are under my control. So whenever they notice something, they call me, please go and check. Now, I chose this location basically because it gives me the easy accessibilities to those areas. So sometimes I can say, okay, fine, I want to be at Abijo GRA from my location in less than 10-15 minutes, I'm there. And I want to go to, let's say, Sangotedo in less than 20-25 minutes, I'm there. So they are important. So when you are looking at a rental properties, you need to look at the proximity. Now, if I'm to rent your properties, there are key three things that I'm going to put into consideration. So I'm going to quickly look at the three important things I'm going to put into locations. What is the first thing is proximity to my place of work. Proximity. Now, a lot of people have not understood basically that not all places in Lagos is developed. Not all places. And if you are driving hours away from your house, by the time you are able to calculate the logistics in the terms of transportation, in the terms of fueling, like if you own your own personal car, you want to calculate the logistics, because you see, I've done this several times. I've done this personal calculations, I've done this personal um things by myself, and sometimes I realized there was a place I rented before this particular one. It was a bad decision because I had an opportunity of renting somewhere that was higher. I decided to go for that particular location because I consider it to be very cheap. At the end of the year, where I was able to do my calculations, I found out that the rental decision I made there was bad, because when I calculated my cost of transportation, cider, mangbomode, by the time I was able to calculate my cost of transportation, and that area has one major issue, electricity. I calculated the amount of money I was spending on fueling. By the time I was able to do the calculation, I found out that if I had stayed in an area that I consider to be very expensive, I would have spent lesser. So proximity to place of work is very important. Then another thing you also want to put into consideration is proximity to major health care. Now, there are some people who stays in the interior part of Ibeju-Lekki, and basically I don't make decisions if I'm not putting a lot of things. Now, any health emergency can happen, and one of the things that determines how well you'll be able to manage that situation is if your house or your rental properties is not far from a nearby hospital. There are some areas that in this our Ibeju-Lekki, that you will drive 2 hours before you get to the hospital. There are areas you drive 1 hour. There are areas you drive 1 hour 30 before you get to the hospital. So you want to look at the proximity of that property to the nearest health center. So you want to look at that as another thing. Now, another red flag you also want to consider is the infrastructure of that area. The infrastructure. Now, no location have the best infrastructure, but by the time you are able to evaluate and put some things into consideration, you'll be able to ascertain and understand, okay, areas based on their nearness to infrastructure. Presently, right now, is raining cat and dog in Lagos. Now, for the past 2 days, some areas on the island are not finding it funny. Like, not fine. There are some times that once it rains heavily, if your normal cost of transportation to and fro to that location is, let's say, 5,000, the moment it rains, because you see, what actually causes traffic on the Lagos Island basically is due to the fact that we have a lot of potholes. If you have been to the areas of the Chevron toll gates, if you have been to some part of the Agungi, if you have been to the part of Jakonde, some areas of Lekki, most of those motorists, okay, that are trying to avoid traffic are the major cause. Bad road are the major causes of traffic. And if your cost of transportation per day, let's assume the cost of transportation per day is 5,000, the moment it rains, just so you might spend double of that 5,000. So you want to look at the infrastructure, accessibility. So red flag number one, infrastructure. What is the road situation of that place? That's number one. Number two, what is the electricity situation of that place? Now, someone reached out to me recently and he said he wanted to buy a project in the Ibeju-Lekki axis. And the man had a conversation and he was like, he has seen the price, he likes the project. What do I think of that project basically? And one of the things I told him basically is that if you're buying that project, please just get a reliable solar panel or an inverter system for that electricity for that area. The man asked me, why are you saying this? I said, for over 15 years, these particular locations have not they've not had electricity. So I said, if your intention is to reside, because you see, people buy real estate for different reasons. I've seen instances, people will just reach out to me, you say, okay, you know what, Ade, this is my first time in investing in Nigeria. I really don't care about the location. I just want to own something that I can hold and flip over time. So if that's your case, trust me, I like helping people like that. Okay, you want to own the property. Okay, these are the locations. Which one do you prefer? However, if it's a place you want to stay or is a place you want to rent, you will definitely don't want to overlook. Are we together? You definitely don't want to overlook the power situation of that location. Now, I've seen instances whereby a lot of people have left some major locations because the electricity situation is bad. Now, imagine a situation whereby there is not even power at all. There are some areas in Lagos that it's been 10 years. I think if any Lagos state official is watching this video, I'm saying you have to look at the electrical axis. The electricity situation there is terrible. So they've not had lights for close to 10 to 15 years now. So if you are buying real estate in that area, you should make plan for your own solar or inverter system that will generate electricity for you. Or if you can afford to have a standard generator, you look at that. Now, in areas where electricity is a major concern, rental properties don't do well. In areas where electricity is a major concern, rental properties don't do well. So you want to understand the electricity or the infrastructural situations of that place, because if those areas are not if they're having situation with road, they're having situation with flooding once it rains, and they're having there are some locations in Lagos that once it's rain, it is trouble. Once there is power outage, there is trouble. And those areas, they don't even have a good road network. They don't have a good road network. So you want to look at that. So if you are investing, the first red flag that you want to look out for are these three things. Number one, proximity. Number two, infrastructure. Number three, the power situations of those places. If you can have not ascertained those three things, and because you see, there are lots of properties that are in my possession right now that the owners have asked us to rent out for them. Okay, I have the mirrors. Sometimes when I'm driving out, I have several keys in my car, and so I have to. So when I get a call from this and this, so even our lawyers are working. So the areas that a particular person wants to rent this property, please can you be there once I drive there? Now, when we take the tenant or the proposed tenant for that property, sometimes I'm always observing their countenance. I'm always observing their reactions. And from their reactions, you will know that they will not take that property. And what is the problem? The problem basically is that the investor was not fully aware of some of these challenges. So it will be very, very sad and unfortunate for you to buy a property after spending millions and sometimes an uncomfortable payment plan. And after buying that property, you find out that you cannot rent it out, or you cannot lease it, or you cannot use it for short let. And this is why we're having this session, because you see, some people have this notion that as long as it is Lagos, it is well, anything goes. It's a lie, yo. As far as Lagos is concerned, no two locations are the same. There is the urbanized areas of Lagos, and there is the rural part of Lagos. Now, because you see, for people that are selling real estate to you, some don't go as far as unraveling the situation of the property you are buying. So sometimes you don't know. And the fact of this situation right now is now due to the fact that many people just buy, assuming that all will be well. So I'm going to say this again. Uh, in locations, some areas are for the elites, while some areas are for the commoners. Now, if you see an area, like for instance, I gave an instance of an investor. I've been working with this particular investor for a year, and she has a studio flat in the Yaba axis. Is it Yaba or Surrey? Yes, Yaba. Now, a studio flat, I already cannot recall the amount she bought it. But you know that this studio flat gives her 350,000 naira monthly from short let rentals. When I talk about 350, I'm talking about a guaranteed sum. She owns a studio apartment in Yaba, okay, that is being managed by a shortlet management company. Now, the way it works is that there are some people that they won't just sell properties to you. We've worked with some real estate developers that after building, okay, they will manage it as shortlet for you, and they will pay you monthly. So this particular investor earns 350,000 naira on a monthly basis from a shortlet apartment in Yaba. However, there are people who have 4-bedroom duplex in Ibeju-Lekki that they may not get a rental opportunity in 1 or 2 years. What is the difference? Now, you see, a 1-bedroom apartment in a prime area that is properly managed, sometimes, don't misquote me, sometimes it is 100% more valuable than a 4-bedroom duplex, 4-bedroom bungalow in an area that cannot command the same result. Now, what is the problem, or why do we have situations like this? The reason why we have situations like this is due to the fact that whenever it comes to rental properties, what determines the authenticity and your profitability of your investment is the rental demand. So someone may offer you a one bedroom. Let's say, for instance, now we have a project in Anthony, Maryland, which is the Brooks End. One bedroom there is 80 million. Just one bedroom is 80 million. Now, somebody will say, an investor will say, why will I use 80 million to buy a one bedroom in Maryland, in Ikeja? Okay, we have another project for 75 million in Ikeja. So someone will say, why would I put 80 million? Why would I put that chunk of money in Ikeja? Whereas I can, okay, use that 80 million to buy maybe a terrace duplex in the Ibeju-Lekki, or a fully detached bungalow somewhere also in the Ibeju-Lekki. That is true. I'm not disputing the fact. I'm not disputing the fact. What I'm trying to explain basically is that what determines the rental opportunities is not the price, but the location. Location is as important as. Now you see this particular 80 million one bedroom in Maryland is projected to remit between 700,000 to 1 million to its owner on a monthly basis through short-let management. So the thing is that, see, I've had instances whereby a lot of investors right now, they're asking me to sell off their normal rental properties. They want the rent to tenants and some other things. They told me, see, I don't want to do this anymore. Just let's sell off the remaining rental properties. Let me invest in short lets and let me know I'm earning monthly. I did a video where I said that it will get to a point in Lagos whereby there will be rental shortages. Why? Because landlords will prefer to earn rent monthly than to earn it annually. I have a video on it. I've talked about that, and I made that projection based on the fact that what people earn from short-let management is insane. I'm telling you. I also did not believe it until I started experiencing it on behalf of some clients. So a one bedroom apartment, a two bedroom apartment, a studio apartment on some places, in some places, like let's say for instance, in areas of Ikate, Victoria Island, Ikoyi, Ikeja, Magodo, Omole, Surulere, Yaba. You see, apartments in those areas are more valuable than some places on the island. And I'm going to explain. On some places of the Ibeju-Lekki and other places. Now, let me explain. Don't misquote me, please. Follow my analysis, and you can also investigate further. Now, everything I'm saying basically right now is verifiable. You can do your own personal findings and find out. You'll be shocked that what I am telling you right now is the facts. Now, I'm going to explain. I sold a studio apartment to a diasporan. The man was very, very reluctant because it doesn't occur to him that why will I buy a studio apartment? I knew what the man stand to gain, and that's just one thing about me. When I know that this investment is going to pay you much more, I will ensure you get it, because the result basically will prove you will ascertain that what I'm saying is true. Now the man reluctantly, as at that time they were selling that studio for 25 million in the Surulere axis. Now it was like, a day this one, okay, it's 25 million, and the payment plan was good. The man bought that project for 25 million. Before completion, the project appreciated to 40 million. That was a shocker. And he called back and he said, if he had known, he would have bought two. But that's not the area of concern. When this man collected his first rental properties, because he bought it from a developer who's not just selling and handing over. No, developer after building will manage. In fact, if you're in the diaspora, I'll just advise to have, if you have your own house that you can reside, that whenever you're in the country you can stay comfortably, and advise that your other property should be mostly on cash flow short. So this man bought it for 25. This was around 2023. Yes. this particular investor might be watching this video. So he bought. Now, when he collected his first rent at that time was around 300,000 because they were just starting out that short let. As I'm talking to you right now, he's earning 400,000 monthly on the studio apartment. And he said something. He said, I think that let's assume I have just two. That's 800,000 on a monthly basis in rent. And he said he has a house somewhere around Beechwood Estate. And he said he has, I think, a 3-bedroom terrace duplex. And he said he's renting it out for 3.5 million. Yes, a terrace duplex. When he did the maths, he said in some number of years, he would have been able to make back his investment in that studio apartment and probably buy more if he has. Now, that same studio apartment right now, as I'm talking to you right now, studio apartment right now on the mainland is around 48, 58, 50, 60, depending on the location. But what I'm trying to say in essence basically is that a 1-bedroom apartment, a 2-bedroom apartment in some areas is much more valuable than some duplexes and some terraces or some bungalows. Why? Because what you will get as rental value in those areas will not be something you will get in the same area of the area. Why? Because there is demand for rental properties in those areas and not the same where we have these areas. So, and the reason why I'm making this video basically is that I'm tired of seeing abandoned projects. Now, a lot of people don't, I was talking to an investor and this woman said, are you really sure? I said, yes. I said, because I want you to see that I'm not just talking because I feel like I want to talk. I'm just saying, I want you to know this because I have facts. So I decided to drive. I started showing this particular investors houses that we are looking for people to rent and has not been rented. So by the time I showed him 1, 2, 3, then that was when she now understood basically that I knew what I was saying. See, when it comes to rental properties, locations are of immense importance. So look beyond the hype. You see, some of these people that are selling to you, when it is the area for them to do the talk, when it is time for them to do the talk, a lot of people say, of the rental property for this is 6 million. There was a time I was watching, I saw a video on my YouTube, and of course, this particular realtor is well known, highly respected. And when she was giving the projection, I was just laughing. Now, the reason why I laugh basically is number one, she does not even reside there. Number two, she does not know the challenges that are there. There are some areas that you want to enter your house. Town crier will come and beat the door and say, bang, 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 bang. There is a festival that is coming. There is a sacrifice that will be done. So you are supposed to, it's a curfew. So you are not expected to move from this time to this time. And they're selling properties there. So basically, location is of immense importance. You have to understand that you cannot play down on the importance of location. So I'm not saying you should sell all your rental properties. What I'm trying to say basically is that invest in areas where there is demand. Now, a lot of people have said, but other areas too, there will be demands. Yes, there might be demand. But you see, when you buy a property, to me, it's insane. It's unbelievable. It's annoying for me to buy a property and I have to wait 2-3 years before I can get somebody to rent my properties. It doesn't, to me, it does not make any good investment sense at all. It doesn't. So you have to understand that in an area where the location is not promising, it's a red flag. It doesn't matter who is advertising. See, a lot of people are buying what they don't need. Sorry, I'm touching my hair, but it shows how the thing they pay me for body. A lot of people are buying locations that will not be in demand even in 2 years from today. A lot of people are buying locations whereby they will find it extremely difficult to flip in an area of emergency. Now, an investor, and one of my investors bought a property recently. I don't know, not recently, in Yaba. And the man said, okay, I have a project I want to do somewhere. And he said, can you help me flip this property? And he asked, what is the price valuation of this? I gave him the price. I said the price is between this and this. He said, okay, fine. He said, now by the time I called the developer, okay, that um this client wants to sell this property because there's a project he needs to do and he needs money to do it. The property is in Yaba, a 2-bedroom apartment. When he bought, I think he bought for 48 million. And he bought that property in 2023. No, 2024. As I'm talking to you right now, if we sell that property for 75 million, the investor will still consider it a good deal. But the actual value of that property is 80. So when I told the developer he wants to sell, he said, no problem. That even have several demands. He said, okay, I should just give him some time, do this, that they will sell. This property is still under construction. Like they finished it, they're just doing the interior. The man has not, the owner just came to see it, he saw it, and he was like, I have a project I want to do. And the developer was happy that he wanted to, because there is demand. This is the importance of location. Meanwhile, there are some locations that some clients will call us and say we want to sell, and right at that particular time we will be sad because we know that we will use fuel, take people, take investor, blah 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 blah. It's the same old story. So as far as Lagos is concerned, no two locations are the same. So red flag number one: don't buy a location because of hype. Because if you do it, that's why a lot of people will say, the property I bought, we could not see anybody that even said they want to rent. To even sell is problem. The reason for that basically is due to the fact that you are buying hype and not opportunity. You're not, a lot of people say hype, opportunity. No, you're buying hype. There are some locations today that the moment you buy, in fact, when I went to that Yaba property, at construction, some people came to meet me. Some agents in that area came to meet me and they said, we want to manage this property for you. I said, no, I don't work with local agents. But if you have a good tenant, someone that can meet up with our rental demands, we might be considering to give that property. At construction, we have not even done the first decking. We've not. We already have demand because those ones are sure that in less than 1 year or 1 year plus, we'll complete the project. So in investing in Lagos, don't buy because of hype, buy because of demand, rental demand. Number two, another red flag you should also look out for is if that place will not be a serviced apartment. If you are buying a rental property and it will not be serviced, the red flag here basically is that the durability of that property is at risk. I have seen instances, okay, whereby people have bought property and they are begging people to resell. Why? Because this neighbor here put on his own generator 247. The other one too has put on his own generator 247. Now there are areas of environmental pollution because you see the fumes from this particular generator is disturbing the entire neighborhood. Do you understand? The other one is also disturbing the entire neighborhood, and the problem basically is that you cannot have somebody to turn off his generator because it's so. One of the basic problem, okay, why people have issues with rental properties is when you are buying non-serviced area. Non-serviced area in the sense that the developer is not making adequate plan for electricity. It's not making plan for water supply. It's not making plan for proper waste disposal. I can guarantee you, in less than 2 months after people have moved into that area, you find it extremely difficult to differentiate that place from barracks. So if you are not buying serviced apartments, is a red flag. Don't ignore it. That place will see, you will be forced to leave that house because the area will become exhausting, and it become, you won't be able to even tolerate the noise pollution. The some people have this attribute of anyhowness. So if you're not buying an area whereby developer, because you see, it's not just buying house. I need to quickly state this. It's not just buying house. If there is no adequate plan for the proper maintenance of the house, I can assure you that that house value will depreciate faster. They used to say property does not depreciate. Well, there are some that depreciate. Why? The ones that are not adequately and properly managed. There are some developers we work with, most of them even have, they employ facility managers, people who are in charge of water, people who are in charge of electricity. There are areas, there are sometimes that there might be some fault, electrical fault. There's a customer service line that you call in your apartment and they will attend to it. So if you are buying an area whereby there is anyhowness, it's not well structured, it's not well serviced, you say service apartment, the money is expensive, go and buy area that is not well serviced, and you wish you have bought that service area, because you see, that place will not be conducive. That's very important. If there is no adequate plan, okay, for facility management, you are buying trouble. You are buying something that will not be durable. You are buying something that will give you problem. Now, am I now saying that those who are even paying for service, does that mean service area does not have, service apartment does not have those challenges and problems like that? They do. And that is why sometimes if you are investing, you need to properly evaluate the developer you are buying from. There are some list of real estate developers that they are terrible at service, rendering services after purchase. Their track record is very, very worse. So I don't understand. I don't care where you are buying or who is selling to you. If there is no plan, if the investor or if the developer does not have a facility manager, you are buying trouble. I'm telling you, it's only a matter of time before you start having. There are a lot of people who have had issues. I've seen it. I've seen houses that within 6 months after construction, 6 months after construction, the paintings are already peeling off. The electrical fittings already had issues. This is a house that somebody, and that's why sometimes as a property owner, you are spending much more on maintenance than the money you have used in even purchasing the house in the first place. So facility management is very critical. So if you're buying real estate and you're not buying from someone that is not making adequate preparation for facility management, leave that apartment for them. Leave that apartment for them. That's just it. Number 3, another red flag. This is going to be the final one. I'll be opening the tools for questions. Okay. Another red flag, okay, that you should look out for is buying in a place where there is low rental demand. Low rental demand. Now, what are the major causes of low rental demand? Number 1 is the distance. Investors in Nigeria, investors in diaspora. There's a word in Yoruba language. It's like an adage, or let me say it's a proverb. It says, if you say the truth, you will die. If you don't say the truth, you will die. Why don't you say the truth and leave? I don't know if I've misquoted that. See, I'm going to tell you people the truth. I've been to different areas in Lagos, and I can tell you one thing. There are some places that I don't care the amount you bought it to. If you like, tell me my rent is 1 million and it's a 3-bedroom apartment. I would rather take a room and parlor self-contained for 3 million than to go to that location. I'm going to see, I'm saying things the way they are. For you buying properties in Lagos, I'm begging you in God's name, because you see, I know you people are working round the clock. You are working hard to raise these funds, to raise this money, to make this investment. And Majority of these you investors are buying that properties because you are considering that there will be a good retirement plan for you. This is my plea. I have a lot of things I want to say today, but I'm just going to take a pause at this four. By the special grace of God, tomorrow I'll be here. I'm going to be talking about how to protect your property from bad tenants. I'm going to be talking about that. By the special grace of God, we're going to be doing that tomorrow. And tomorrow is Thursday. And also on Friday, I'm also going to be discussing something very, very critical. I'm going to be talking about the shortlets. Why investing in shortlets in this Ember period is the best decision you can take. I'm also going to be discussing that. Definitely not today. By the special grace of God on Friday. Now, if you are buying rental properties, please choose locations that are not far. Choose location that is not far. Choose location that is not far. I am managing more than 6 properties. So I'm not saying I will manage your own. I'm not saying that after you bought, please bring it to me. But I'm just trying to let you know. Now, every explanation I'm giving here is from a practical perspective. These are things that are happening. Rush to the gen. These are things. My God, my light is about to go off. Go and on the gen. So these are practical. That's my inverter. It's about to go off. Now, these are practical experiences that I'll be giving. There are some locations that, if you tell me that you have someone who wants to rent it for shortlet, I'm always driving to that location with joy. Why? Because I know that I can lodge in that person to that location, do everything I want to do, and still meet up my tax for the day. But there are some locations that when you come in like this, hey, it will be like now, location is very important. So by tomorrow, I'm going to be talking about 3 fundamental things why your property is not in demand. It's fundamental, it's practical. My light is about to go off now, so I'll be dropping the curtain. Okay, so please join me tomorrow by God's grace. I'm going to be talking about these ideas. I'm going to be sharing some of these things, and trust me. Did you put the plug? All right. So I'm going to be doing that by tomorrow. I don't want this video to be unnecessarily long, but I'm going to be doing that by the special grace of God tomorrow. I want to say a very big thank you to everybody. So tomorrow by 5 p.m. I'm going to be here, and we'll talk more. So tomorrow I'll be having the question and answer session as well. Thank you.